And I will once again introduce our speaker, Brandon, with his speech titled Colors and Their Meanings. Please welcome.
Thank you, Madam. I apologize for that. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for introducing me. Always a pleasure hearing you bring me in. Good evening, everyone. This is a repeat of my speech from 2 weeks ago, talking about colors and their meaning. And I've been going to incorporate the feedback that was given to me by a great evaluator. So I'm going to move forward and talk about colors and their meanings. A little bit of a backstory. My favorite color is red because I am a more aggressive and intense person. Not aggressive in a violent way, but I'm more of a on-the-go rush, adrenaline rush. Gotta attack it, jump in 2 feet. You can probably detect that in my attitude, which is one of the many meanings of the color red. But enough about me. Let's get into colors and their meanings. Think back to your childhood to today, sitting as adults. Colors have always been a fabric of our reality. Everything from traffic signs to work protocols, medical settings, temperatures, colors signify everything around us. However, there are meanings to colors that overlap. And I'm gonna go over the different categories of colors along with how these colors are represented or how they could be represented in society. There are 3 categories of colors that I'm going to go over this evening. You have your warm colors, your cool colors, and your neutral colors. I'm going to start with the warm colors. Warm colors consist of red, orange, and yellow. Red, I've already discussed. Passion, intensity, excitement, and it can also mean danger and warning in some instances, depending on the context of where the color is used. Can also symbolize a negative thing such as anger and war, rage. Even though these are a part of our nature, that's what red typically symbolizes throughout history. Even the dark points of our history, ring around the roses, pocket full of posies, the color red signified death, which is a little interesting note. Why, whenever you see a stop sign, you go stop. That's a little dark, but now we're gonna brighten it up a little bit, talking about the other warm colors. That is yellow. Yellow signifies joy, sunshine, but it can also mean jealousy. It can also mean envy and deceit. As I previously mentioned in my earlier speech, it can also, if you ever watched a Western movie, you will hear the term yellow belly. That means that the cowboy is a coward. Classic Western trope. Then you have orange. Orange, as I've later learned after doing more research, orange by nutritionists also signifies health and immunity. And it's also a symbol of general warmness. And it can also be an indicator of not necessarily imminent danger, but step just before imminent danger, such as a cold orange. Then we're gonna get into our cool colors. That's blue, green, and purple. Those are the more common ones. The color blue, coolness, calm, collected, peace, water. Whenever you look at a map, the color blue, water. And it also has a negative connotation when it comes to depression. If you're a psychologist, color blue generally means that there's an indication of depression, or it is coded for depression. Blue can also mean sophisticated and honorable, which is why blue and black, another color I'm going to discuss later, is often more preferred whenever you're applying for a job interview. It is a very business-like color. Then we have green. Green can mean inexperience in a more negative context, and it can also represent setting, Green signifies life, plant material, growth, and life in general. You go outside in summertime or in springtime, first colors that you begin to see after seeing a very dreary or seemingly dreary winter, seeing the plants bud. Then you have purple. Purple signifies mystique, creativity, and honor. Think of the think of the Purple Heart. That is a form of honor, which means that you put your body on the line to sacrifice for your country. Then region you're in determines the meaning of that color. Then you have brown. Brown is a color that means you're grounded. Hence the color brown. You are earth, you're earthly, you're down to earth. Then you have black. Black in style goes with just about anything. You can't go wrong with black. Sophistication, style, mystery. And in Western cultures, it can represent death. In Eastern cultures, it can represent life because it is symbolic of all present colors. And then there's one more that I did not mention, and that is gray. Gray, as it is commonly implied, means that it's mixed. Takes neither extreme. It means that little clarity. Smoke screen, that is usually the symbol for gray. That is the general gist of my lecture, the meaning of the colors, and how we use them to navigate through the fabric of our reality. I hope you learned something, and thank you all for having me.
Thank you, Brandon. I certainly did learn something, and I enjoyed hearing that and learning a little more. You write down your time very quickly, and that concludes the first part of our meeting. You know, we all know our meeting is in 3 parts, and that's the prepared speeches. Now we'll do impromptu speeches before we move on to evaluations. And Dana, are you prepared to lead us in our table topics and impromptu speeches? Maybe Dana has had some difficulty. We'll give him just a second. I have some questions. Oh, wait, here he is.
I'm here.
Okay, take it away, Dana.
All right, thank you, thank you, thank you. Let me turn my camera on first. Wait, hold up. Can you still hear me? I seem to be having issues with the Zoom control today. There we go.
Yes, let us see the game.
Okay.
There we go. All right, how's everybody doing tonight? I am on my way to the Barons baseball game tonight. So I figured I would make tonight's table topics about all the wonderful stuff of this part of summer. We got Barons baseball. We got the 4th of July coming up before our next meeting. So I'd like to focus on that and see what kind of impromptu speeches y'all can do. And we're going to do my favorite style of table topics. Pick one of the 3. But this time, it'll be a little bit less well-constructed than the last one, which was about UAB. It'll be just random stuff about summer. Yes, there will be baseball. Yes, there will be fireworks. Yes, there will be barbecue. So those are our first 3 topics: baseball, fireworks, and barbecue. Who wants to go first? Sounds good. Dale, take your pick and take it away.
I will talk to you tonight about fireworks.
Nice.
Fireworks has been a pretty much integral part of 4th of July for me ever since I was a child. When I was a kid, I used to like to get firecrackers and blow up ant hills and throw bottle rockets. Shooting bottle rockets into the water was always fun because a bottle rocket would go off underwater. But it wasn't until I was a grown man that it became possible for regular folks like me and you to go into a fireworks stand and get fireworks of nearly the same quality as the ones that the professionals use. I mean, these things that go up and spread out big booms and shower with sparklies, and they go up really, really high. You couldn't get that as an individual. Now you can go in, you can easily shell out $150, $200 and get some really good stuff. But you need to try to do, if you take fireworks seriously, you need to try to do what I learned to do really later than I should have learned it. And that is to be cognizant of how it affects your animals. I still feel guilty about scaring the hell out of my dog Angel because she didn't like the fireworks and she hid in the storm shelter. But put the dog in a storm shelter and shut the door before you start. That's what I recommend. Fireworks are fun, but you got to be careful. Thank you.
So true, so true. Dogs sometimes think they're thunder, and there is a reason that some folks who are dog owners regard 4th of July as scare the crap out of your dog night. Moving along and replacing fireworks with ice cream. The topics to choose from are now baseball, ice cream, and barbecue. So who would like to go now? I think I saw a hand raised from Brandon. Is that right?
Yep, Brandon did.
All righty then.
I think we had 3 people, but Brandon, you go.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, ice cream, that was a tick. I really need to work on that. I have a very fond history with ice cream, perhaps too fond of a history with ice cream. Hence, I need to go to the dentist because I have a sweets addiction and I have a few cavities, not to be TMI. One of my favorite flavors of ice cream, to my knowledge, and I probably don't need to know this if there is pineapple juice float ice cream, or at least a pineapple soft serve. That is my absolute favorite ice cream on the planet. And I've only had it twice in my life. And both times were at Disney World. I've had other form. Well, no, I haven't. I've only had it twice. I've had other forms of ice cream that I thought was a soft serve, but it just wasn't the same thing. So the true form that I've always wanted and always desired and craved for, I've had it twice in 20 years. And ice cream, ironically, me being a health person and all, you wouldn't think that those two things collide, but I look at it as, I can't remember if the term is positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement as to why I do a lot of fitness related activities. It keeps me on track. So I'm not saying eat more ice cream and then use that as motivation to exercise later. No, that's not what I'm preaching. But I'm just letting you know that I have a very close relationship with sweets and a very specific flavor of ice cream. That is the pineapple soft spread and float. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Replacing ice cream as a topic will be swimming pool. So there we go. The topics now to choose from are baseball, swimming pool, and barbecue. Who would like to go next?
I think it's my turn now.
All right.
Excuse my voice. I'm
No
working
problem.
through it. Well, there we go. I'll go with our barbecue.
Okay.
Barbecue, not just any barbecue. I like me some pork barbecue, pork ribs barbecue. Why? Because I have been able to come up with my own marination that it took a little bit work, but after a couple of try and errors, as we all know, I have been able to come up with this very nice barbecue marinating sauce that it has not disappointed, or it has never or disappointed ever since I was able to perfect it. Let me put it that way. That's the right way to put it. It has not disappointed ever since I was able to develop it. So that has to be more fond of barbecues, especially pork rib barbecues. And my family, as at now, knows me to be the pork rib barbecue guy. That anytime there is a gathering, I am the go-to person to make sure that that delicacy is on the table. Folks just show up just for that. I can pride myself a little bit of that. But taste is different, so I'm here to bring it to the table of Toastmasters team to see if all of you will be able to enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for telling us about barbecue. Replacing barbecue as a topic is another food, hot dogs. They are $1 tonight at the Birmingham Barons game. First pitch is 7:05. So, whoever would like to go next, your topics of choice are baseball, hot dogs, and swimming pool. The one thing that won't be in my future tonight. I don't see any hands raised.
Well, I would like to just say this, I see that Sania has joined us. I spoke with her very recently. She's a friend of Phyllis who was with us last time and joined the club. And Sania, you've come in during table topics, which are impromptu speeches in response to some kind of question or a prompt. And guests are certainly invited to participate in this. If you would like to jump in there, you are giving a 1 to 2 minute speech if you choose to do so. I'll signal you green at 1. You've kind of seen the signals, I think. So, Sania, we welcome you if you would like to volunteer. We have plenty of time still. We've got a good bit of time because we've just got 2 evaluations. So if anyone else, Sania or somebody else, would like to go and give a speech, what are our topics, Dana? Tell us again.
One more time, the current topics are baseball, hot dogs, or swimming pool.
Elias is volunteering.
Oh, excellent. All right, that's fine, Sania. If you would rather hold off and see how it's done first. Elias, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I think I want to talk about the topics of swimming pools. For many reasons, I would like to say that my preferred swimming pool is made of salt instead of chlorine. Because when I used to swim in swimming pools made of chlorine, treated with chlorine, most of the time my eyes become red. And also, after spending a few hours in the swimming pool, my hands become too soft, and it damages my hair and all that. It becomes too stiff, more than it already is. So taking into consideration these drawbacks, I prefer to swim in a swimming pool that is treated with salt. because I find that salted water is a little heavier and you can perform underwater exercises. You can float better. It is easier on your joints, especially if you're becoming older as I am. It's much better, the exercises. That's one of the reasons I like the salted water. Also, it's better to do some laps. I guess it's got a lot of more resistance for that. And for that reason, I think that the swimming pool is best to enjoy during the summer. And I do appreciate for giving me this opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elias. That was very enlightening. The choice of sailing pool over chlorine. Chlorine pools have been around for a lot longer, but of course, sailing pools are neat because they mimic the saltwater sea. I'm not sure which one I prefer more, but I don't mind. Either one is cool, or just a natural lake. All right, replacing swimming pool is another water topic, water slides. Or if you don't know a whole lot about water slides, you may also speak of roller coasters, but one of those two. So those two plus baseball or hot dogs. So 4 choices for whoever would like to go next.
Well, I am going to be bold. My name is Sini Johnson. The
Welcome.
subject, thank you. The subject, hot dogs. Well, I'm somewhat of a foodie. I love a good, thick, juicy hot dog with chili, cheese, bell peppers, onion, grilled, of course, a little extra seasoning on them. Don't like the very bready buns. And I know it sounds really messy, but my great-grandmother used to say, unless you, and this is not acceptable culturally, it's not good until you have to lick your arm. So, with that being said, that is my version of a good hot dog.
Nice. Very well done. Very well done. And while you can get those kinds of hot dogs tonight at the Barons game, they won't be $1. All those extra toppings will cost you. So replacing hot dogs is, let's see, I suppose I'll go with cotton candy. So those are your topics for the next one. Baseball, cotton candy, roller coaster, or water slide.
I'll volunteer.
All right.
I would like to talk about cotton candy. The most sugary, disgusting, rot your teeth snack you could have as a child. Do you know how they make cotton candy? They just like pour sugar and then it spins around. And I think they add some kind of horrible dye to it that probably causes all kinds of cancer. I don't know what makes that stuff pink. You don't want to eat whatever makes something pink or red or blue. Unless it's pink or red or blue, don't eat it if they put in stupid dye. Never color your hummingbird food. That's not right. That's a whole nother subject, a whole different speech. But cotton candy and many of these delicious treats that you've talked tonight are absolutely horrible for the human body. Hot dogs, who even knows what's in hot dogs? I mean, come on. And like that, some ice creams are good, but then you have some that they melt and it's like a petroleum product in there. I don't even know what that started out as. Like the Dairy Queen ice creams. No, not for this girl. Well, thank you so much for that question, Dana. It was very interesting. And I will have some fresh blueberries later on tonight, fresh off my bush out there. Back to you, Mr. Table Topics.
Thank you. Yes, summer does seem to be known for some pretty terrible food, but it isn't all bad. For example, okay, I admit it. My diet is complete crap, but lots of fruits do grow in the summertime. Watermelon, that's pretty good for you, right? watermelon. The summer is known for watermelon, so there you go. Let's see. Moving along now to whatever's, I guess that'll replace cotton candy. Watermelons. So watermelon, baseball, or water slide / roller coaster.
And I think Phyllis is the only person who has not yet given a table topics. So Phyllis,
I'm not sure Shashank has either, but I'm not certain.
Right. You're right. Shashank has not also. So either one of those. And we have
Phyllis or Shashank.
Okay,
and we have time for both of you.
I'm ready for that. Thank you, Dana. I am going to talk about baseball, though I don't know anything about baseball. And but I only can relate that baseball is related to cricket, which is a very popular game in Indian subcontinent and some European country like Australia and New Zealand. But how I get to know about baseball, it is a very interesting story. When I first came in the United States in 2012, after a few months, I was walking with my wife near Railroad Park. So I saw the stadium, a big stadium near Railroad Park, where some noise was coming out from that. So just for a curiosity, what is going on, what kind of stadium is that? I was not aware about that something is going on in this stadium. So I went in the front gate, and then there was a lady who has extra ticket of the baseball, and she was not interested to go inside the stadium. So she had 2 tickets, but she said that I can give you 2 tickets at the price of 1. So I get, oh, it's very good thing. So I bought that ticket, 2 tickets. I think I paid only $7 to $8, and we went inside the stadium, and really it was the first live baseball match for me, and it was amazing, and we loved that. And though I can't understand anything, but the excitement of the crowd and the TV crew and all the players, it was a very exciting evening for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Who was that, Shashank? Was that the Barons or was that the Braves?
I can't remember anything.
Was it here in Birmingham?
Yeah, in Birmingham near Railroad Park, there is a stadium.
Oh, okay. That's where I am. That was 2013 then. That was when the Barons games began. Yep. Oh, that was a good season too. They took the Southern League, and they might do it again this year. Well, whatever they're calling the Southern League now. But they were champions that year, and it might happen this year. But that's enough about the Barons and enough about baseball. Replacing baseball as a topic is the other major sport of summer, soccer. So we got soccer, watermelon, and water slide / roller coaster. And Phyllis is the only one left who hasn't gone, so it's hers for the taking.
Well, I don't know anything about soccer, so I won't take that one. Watermelon, I do love watermelon, and when I was a child, you could only get watermelon that was really good and sweet after the 4th of July. I don't know where that came from, but people are like, oh, it's not any good now. You have to wait till the 4th of July. So I do love watermelon. I prefer seedless, but that's hard to find. And it has always meant to me that it was summer when you have watermelon, and especially after the 4th, because that was known for the 4th of July, your barbecue and your watermelon. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our table topics. I will return for the cheer, but for now, bringing it back to our Toastmaster, Peggy.
Well, thank you, Dana. That was a great table topics as always. You have great energy, and we appreciate your enthusiasm. That was something to kick us all off for summer. So now we're going to move into the third part of our meeting. Sini, I had explained at the beginning that the meeting is in 3 parts. We have the prepared speeches, which you missed, so you were a little bit late, but that's okay. We had 2 prepared speeches from Sam and Brandon. Then we have the table topics, which are impromptu speeches. Now we're going to have the evaluation part of the meeting, and all the prepared speeches are evaluated. Normally, I would turn this meeting over to our general evaluator, but I will just swap hats again, and I am your general evaluator. And as such, I will call on our first evaluator, and that is Dale to evaluate Sam's speech. Am I right on that? Where did I leave mine?
That is correct.
All right, Dale, take it away.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Toastmasters, this is one of my favorite projects, and it's in every single path. It is something that is unique to Pathways in the sense that in the old traditional training program that Toastmasters offered us, we did not have any projects that specifically called for give a speech, get evaluation on that speech, and then incorporate that evaluation into an attempt to deliver the same or different speech, but responding to the feedback. So I think that's really good. And I think that, that Samuel made some really good points in his speech. He was focused on structured and informed feedback, which he says is essential to the speaker's improvement. He says he's looking for specific suggestions, and that's good because Toastmasters recommends that we provide some specific suggestions, especially with regards to this project, because as the evaluator, I want to give Samuel an opportunity to respond to some specific things that I have to say. You have a chance to shine and be challenged because Samuel, you're going to give this second round in a totally different environment. You will not be sitting or standing in your house with a background of your choosing behind you. You'll have the whiteboard in the Bevel Research Center, and you'll be there in the room and with the rest of us, and we'll get to see all of your body language. Keep that in mind. I haven't had the pleasure of seeing you give a live speech yet, but I'll be looking for that body language. You incorporated good gestures for an online presentation, particularly with your hands. We all talk with our hands. When you're in person, you're going to talk with your hands too. You talked about two types of feedback, formal and formative, and I hope this verbal feedback is more of the formative type, and the written feedback that I will give you will be a little bit more formal. I want to tell you the one thing that I didn't quite get the gist of in your speech was the reference to healthcare. I'm not sure if I missed to the beginning or where the healthcare folded into the whole thing. So one thing you might want to do is if there's a message there, look to see if you can even give a little bit of foretelling up front about how the healthcare folds in specifically into your presentation. As far as the regular scores and the criterias, you'll see them all from me. 3s and 4s across the board. All in all, a very good speech. Thank you for that, and I look forward to the follow.
All right, thank you, Toastmaster Dale, for that great evaluation. And now we will have Shashank, who will be evaluating Brandon's speech. And Shashank was Brandon's evaluator last time when he worked on this first part. So he is uniquely qualified to evaluate Brandon a second time and see if he was able to incorporate some of the feedback that Shashank gave him 2 weeks ago. Welcome, Shashank.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you, Brendan, for once again a nice, lovely speech. And since this is this is the second speech of Brendan, and we expect that he incorporate my feedback last week. So I am reading the what was my feedback. In the last speech, I suggested that I observed that Brendan was a little nervous in the beginning, but I would like to say that this time he was more comfortable. So he incorporated my feedback. And another thing I suggest, like Brendan used a very good gesture, but sometimes he used so much like hands movement, and maybe for the online screen, his hands comes in between face kind of thing. So this time maybe I'm right or wrong, I'm not sure, but what I suggested to use less hand gesture. So I think that he incorporated that feedback and he used less hand gesture compared to the last. And comfort level, I suggested like it was mostly good, but it can be further improved. So I noticed that he was very comfortable these times. In my opinion, like whatever my suggestion in my last evaluation form, most of them, like almost all of them, he incorporated in his second speech. So it is a very good comeback, I could say. And one thing I did not mention last time in the evaluation, one thing I noticed in Brendan, that whatever his speech was even coloring color and their meaning, he also cited the reference that from where he got this speech. So that is a very good thing. I think he is a PhD, so he knows about the plagiarism and everything. So he cited the reference, and that's I really I appreciate it. Thank you, Brendan.
Thank you, Shashank. Thank you very much. And that concludes our speech evaluations. And now we will move on to our other evaluations. I am going to give the timer report, which is our first report of the evening. As far as prepared speeches, and for our guest, Sini, we time everything, because if your boss asks you to give a 5-minute speech and you talk for 2 minutes, he's going to think you don't know what you're talking about. If you talk for 7, he's going to think you're blabbermouth. So it's important to know your time, and it's good practice. So prepared speeches were 5 to 7 minutes, and Samuel, you were 6:07. Brandon, you were 6:54. So both of you perfect. Table topics are 1 to 2 minutes. I will say for the new people, neither of you, the goal with table topics is to talk until you get that green flag. So the two of you were a little short on the front end. You didn't get to the 1-minute mark. So just keep blabbing until you get to that green flag and you know you hit your minimum mark, because you don't have a 30-second leeway on the front end, but you do have a 30-second leeway on the back end. So for table topics, Dale, they were supposed to be 1 to 2 minutes, and you had 30 seconds leeway on the back end, 0 on the front. Dale, you were 148, Brandon 154, Sam 158, Elias 126, Sini 51 seconds, Peggy 128, Shashank 138, and Phyllis 50 seconds. As far as evaluations, they were to be 2 to 3 minutes, and they had a 30-second leeway, I think, on both ends. Dale, you were 3 minutes and 18 seconds, and Shashank, you were 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And now I will ask Elias to give us the gist of his O'Connor and grammarian report so we can understand that.
Thank you,
I
Madam
forgot the
Toastmasters.
twist.
First of all, I would like to say that Peggy has used it 3 times the word gist. And I'm very proud of her. She did a great job. Also, for the counter, I was very impressed because I didn't count nothing at all except 1 for Brandon. But I think that it happened when he was about to record the speech, and he say, before I start, he made a long That's the only thing, but I'm very thrilled that I but I think he, in my opinion, I think he included many subjects. For instance, when he started say, I come or I came to realize, that's the first person subject, right? I come or I came to realize. And then he say, we must, and then he go back to, in my opinion, and I would like to. So I think you had to include only 1 subject when you're talking about a specific thing. The other thing that I realized is that he does good transitions. He does in receiving and constructive feedback, but also he says generalize or okay. I don't think that is appropriate. And also he says feedback can be great as well as. I think it's feedback can be great or so. But that's the only thing I found. And also for Brandon, he does a good job in trying to incorporate a lot of figure of speech and a lot of contrast between words, which is make a very nice speech. It's very good. For example, he's jumping in his own 2 feet, backstory, a little bit of my backstory. Is colors are fabric or our own reality. That's very good. He uses a lot of transition, like however, and then he goes on first, then we make a very good speech. Although he says, I am sorry about 3 times, but I think he can go without saying that things. Yes, okay. And for Sam, during his table topics, he mentioned, I came up with my own marination. I don't think that's appropriate. And also he talks about marinating sauce. And I think it's marinate sauce, marinade. And also he talks about barbecues in plural. For Senia, she, although she's new, she did a very, very descriptive language. She went a very good list of items that it could make your mouth watering by describing the hot dogs. That's a very good short speech. I like the way Peggy's, he came up with very informative knowledge and tried to debunk the dangers of fast food, which is very good for me. And that's all. Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Elias. And that concludes, at this point in time, what I would like to do is ask everyone to send Dale a private message in chat about who you think was the top Toastmaster of the evening. Who did the best job at the job that they did? And it could be any of the jobs. It can be a table topics. It can be just anything. If you would just text Dale who you thought was tonight's best person, Toastmaster. And while he is telling that, I want to tell you that this is our very last meeting of the year. I've already announced, and I know Phyllis and Stini, you were not here at the very beginning, but we are going back to live meetings starting the first part of July. We're going to be back in the Bevel Research Center. Eventually, I'd like to do a hybrid meeting, but we don't have that capability the first meeting. And I think that all of us really want to just go back to live meetings. So I'm excited about that. Our Toastmaster year ends the end of this year. And I need to announce that we've met most of the educational goals. We could get 5 points towards and earn a distinguished club status. That is within our grasp, but we would have to have 7 new members in the next 8 days. And I think that that's a real push. We've only had 7 new members the entire year, and to get 7 new ones, I think the fact that we're going to go live and in person, a lot of people are going to rejoin. We're going to see a lot of interest. But for me to ask people to rejoin in June and pay the extra $750 when they really need to just rejoin in July, I kind of hate to do that. So, and Dale would prefer to leave the membership where it is, and then next year we'll just miss it this year. We've all done a great job. It's been the COVID year. We pat yourselves on the back. We kept things going. Y'all were here and you participated on this online thing, and I was like, yay, online isn't that bad. Nobody likes online. We are so happy to be back in person. I just was lying to you that whole time. Yes, we're going to go back in person, and that's what we're going to do. So unless you tell me that you really want me to try to get those other 7 members, I think we only have 8 days left in the year. I think I'm just going to let that slide for this year, and let's start out next year strong with a whole bunch of new members the 1st of July and go back live and in person. Does anybody want to comment on that?
Maybe 2 or 3 returning that decided not to join us in this online format. I personally might get in touch with Alexandria if she's still on my Facebook. I'm not sure. One of y'all get in touch with her. I know she said that she would like to come back when we go on person. But
we're going to definitely be reaching out to all of those people who were unwilling, there were a handful. Alexandra is one you're talking about. Michael Sharito. There were people that just loved Toastmasters, but they couldn't wrap themselves around the online. And hopefully, I mean, those of you who haven't had the pleasure of being with us in person, I look so forward to you being there because it's really, really a lot more fun. I mean, I'm so glad that everybody's been able to join us, but I'm really excited about going in person. And we do have a top Toastmaster, by the way. Tonight's top Toastmaster is Brandon. Congratulations, Dr. Brandon Beeman. Top Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dr. Beeman.
So we have that taken care of.